Obey my commands. In the event of a knockdown, the fighter standing will go to the furthest neutral corner and stay there. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, please.
Well, a lot has changed in terms of how we think about a fight between Jaime Munguia and Bruno Surace. Two top 10 Ring Magazine super middleweights going at it.
Munguia coming up from 154.
Ian got knocked out in that last fight. They're going right for him leading up to that point.
See, Surace went for that home run right hand right off the bat. But
Interested to see what kind of tweaks makes the game of Jaime Munguia. First full camp.
Munguia is carrying his left hand almost to guard against that right hand.
that's one of them. And then he's going to make that ring smaller and smaller and cut off.
Does Jaime Munguia revert to form? So we start to see the same
Been
thing.
trying to take those bad habits away. They always come back and haunt him.
Has suddenly developed confidence, could be extremely dangerous outside of boxing. This is someone who twice, the day of and the day before fights, now suddenly is a top 10 super middleweight.
He was brought in as cannon fodder.
Mannix doesn't believe me, but I tell him that boxers are smart. They don't need a magic. It's just they're put in a position. They come from poverty that they...
In every capacity.
How many credits away?
Especially when you have a mover moving around the ring laterally.
Left hand to the body there for Munguia, but a pretty good opening round there for Surace.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I took 1 year of college French, guys. I got
As well as perhaps it should, as round two begins. As you heard the Munguia corner say, to get started, and we discussed the possible adaptation we would have now in the Reynoso camp. Canelo-esque thing to do too, Sergio.
has become known for downloading information in that first round. Clear idea of how Bruno Surace is going to try to fight. He's going to be looking for knockouts coming into that fight against Jaime Munguia, but he loads up.
Now, Sergio, one habit that Surace...
To his left, he crosses his right foot. That's a big... and can get attacked.
Works for Jaime Munguia really well is that left hook to the body.
And I think if he's going to take advantage of Surace moving his right foot, money for Munguia.
Both the body shots, as we mentioned.
That right hook.
He said, I'm not sure that I belong here. I might be going back to 160. Being where he's athletically most
Wide torso. You know, fighters like that, you know, they carry all their weight. Carlos Baldomir, you know, they had all of that wide torso. They were strong fighters if you stay right in front of them.
away that right hand well. Did eat a nice stiff jab there from Munguia. Now touches the body of Surace with a left hook.
His hands back to defense.
Aquí nomás lo estás bloqueando muy bien, ok, cerradito. Es fácil lo que tienes que hacer.
Being given by Eddie Reynoso a lot of great instructions. So he needs to pretend he's gonna attack, feint, and then feint and attack. So you can just
Good left hand to the body there from Munguia. Surace felt
good shot, and if you keep digging that forearm and that elbow, this is the most I've seen Munguia feint. It's unnatural to him, but that's exactly what they worked on. So that's what
seated ringside. Of Munguia is a little bit tighter now. You're seeing some of that Reynoso Canelo style.
Tight guard and discipline. I think that's the main thing. Discipline to the win. You know, as soon as he's the opponent now, he's doing a lot more responsibly behind that hard jab to his face.
54, he was so physically overwhelmed, like the one over Derevyanchenko, like the one over Bozniak.
Very physical fight as he moved up the scales. Best in boxing. He's had some wear and tear over the last couple of years.
Both these fighters really thinking. This is the first time I focus and concentrate so much and everything, but now he's being calculated with what he's going to throw first. He needs to counter with that overhand hook around the guard. That's going to be his money punch. Two smart fighters right in front of each other right now. Who's going to make the mistake first?
Surace looking for Munguia there. And that'll do it for round three. That's looking very calm in the corner. And Claudia, what are you hearing?
Thank you, Corey. There's a lot of confidence. There was no concern on the footwork at all.
It's French speaker of the four of us on the case here. Trying to stab with that jab to the body. Surace has talked about how even though his life Munguia win, particularly financially, he's in the same gym that he's always trained in, glamorous superstar.
For the fight, that's why he's so calm and patient right now, because he only has one 12-round fight under his belt, 28 fights.
Well, that would explain to a judicious punching that we're seeing from Munguia. The first fight, quite as frequently in this fight.
In a fight like that, it went the other way.
Coming fights, there's too much pressure to shine. That's why a lot of these hometown fights, when champ good or they've lost.
Nice right hand, a good counter over the top there from.
Good shot. See, jump in with a left hook and then come under with a left and foot balance. Bruno Surace, I could understand why he's no pushover. He may have been an unknown.
Round 5.
Very competitive start to this contest. Munguia and Bruno Surace.
A lot of caution on that corner. Everyone also wants Munguia to maintain his distance and be overhand right that could come in and do some damage.
Wild how things can change for a guy like, frankly, might not have been discovered. We see how actually is. Might still be toiling in obscurity in France, if not getting a fairly late Munguia in December.
Yeah, man, that's why you gotta, whenever you're given an opportunity, and like I said in the knockout ratio indicates, especially with that right hand.
Undefeated record, but 4 knockouts coming into that. Respectfully, he was basically a club fighter in France. His level of competition really was a complete unknown.
But look at how Munguia is throwing more than one shot. Munguia was known as a buck.
You can hear just the weight of that shot. Only having 5 knockouts. We saw what he did to Munguia, but there's some serious behind those shots.
Overloading on that right hand. I think you got to break down Surace. Aim at the body, aim at the biceps.
Part of last week talking about lingering effects of a knockout, particularly when it came. I think we're seeing some of the here with Jaime Munguia. Much more selective punch.
The right shot there. That's a beautiful left hook to the body.
Make a career taking shots. Whenever you have a granite lie on that, and then you can't keep taking that punishment, and your confidence is.
Munguia getting a little bit of confidence in his offense here as the round comes to a close. And part of your unrivaled subscription. Back to action here in Bruno Surace. A better round there in round 5. Munguia, who seemed a little less tentative.
And that's what they're telling him in the corner. You need to aim at the biceps and don't pull back. Surace is a counter, what he's looking for.
All right, Chris Maddox, let's take a look at your scorecard.
Clear win for Jaime Munguia. Got his momentum going, got his offense going. Bruno Surace up 1 point on my score. Munguia closing the gap.
Instead of the top. See, just like that. Because that's going to keep the elbows and forearms in check. Combinations and onslaught.
Well, it's a good point, Sergio. You know, even going back to the first fight, I think that Surace will do. He'll lean back, he'll take those shots in the corner, telling him just take those shots, wear his arms down with his hands down. It was sort of an unusual sequence.
Yeah, you need to stay in there. Once you break that disc, stay in there. Yeah, keep your chin tucked, stay in there.
For a split second, drop that right hand, and Bruno Surace loaded up and landed a straight right.
His own right hand here, now staying in there, just touching the arms of Surace.
Start pilling the guard, and unless you do it, I think that should be a strategy, because Surace is very strong. Go back to Fernando Vargas,
Sure.
to do that technique. He would do it with Ike Cortez, I remember.
Thank you so much, Claudia. And a man that Jaime Munguia could extract a little bit of motivation from, a man who bounced back from stoppage losses and had a wonderful career. And 7 now underway. It feels like the momentum that he is having to think, certainly showing here tonight. Up on the cards or marginally down, he is proven
he is something else than just that right hand. You see him there of that shot. I think Bruno Surace got to mix some of these punches up.
And a right hand to the body there a moment ago. There's that right hand. The Ring Magazine's upset of the year since '89. And upset of the year winners, Wise, who upset Chavez Sr. And they have, it's the breakthrough where they prove that they belong on the world level and they go on to.
Excellent fighter.
In his last fight, but I do think we're seeing the Eddie Reynoso influence and very little defense here. As you guys noted earlier, a different type of fight.
Yeah, but not only that, but you're training alongside Canelo. That's mentally strong. You learn just by watching as well.
And right hand over the top as well.
And this is what
and puts a couple more together at the end of the round. That was classic Jaime Munguia.
And steal the round, Sugar Ray Leonard style. That's exactly what you gotta do. Credit to Surace for trying to open up there.
And there's Terrence Crawford, obviously a keen observer here tonight, Chris.
Interest in the outcome of the main event.
Round, a little bit of a different cadence from Munguia.
Nice jab. See, that his corner wants him. Munguia needs rhythm. He needs front foot throwing caution to the wind. Now, if he sets up to the body, that controls.
Found high frame, long term for a fighter like Munguia. You know, he's not yet 30 years of age.
160 and above. You could see, even though he was in his defensive-minded style, if you want to call that this.
Munguia just landed a hard right hook.
Crowd starting to rally behind Munguia here. A little more hunching over to block those body shots.
Yeah, not only that, but like I said, he's really a 6 to 8 round fighter. You know, so this 9th, 10th, 11th round is very foreign and unknown to him. He's sharp, alert.
December encounter, which Surace trying to get his revenge here tonight, and also his new stablemate, Canelo Alvarez, in our main event.
Good body shot there from Surace to start this round. In favor of Jaime Munguia. I think the last Jaime Munguia seizing the lead on my scorecard.
With left hand to the body there. The hands were high. He caught the right hand of Surace.
And the right hand behind it, and yeah, Munguia just barely pulled. Good body shot there by Munguia.
Goes into that shell to keep those arms over the midsection.
You gotta feint now. This is the last round. You gotta close this round. Close this round harder than you did the last round. Wake up. Let's go. Last round.
Eddie Reynoso has been giving the same instruction. Dissuade Jaime Munguia from to being the fighter that we've seen throughout his professional career. In my opinion, a fight he's comfortably ahead.
Final round heroics from Munguia in the past, trying to suppress those urges to do something fantastic here.
Yeah, that final round he had against Sergey Derevich.
Munguia doesn't need to learn toughness or how to throw punches. He needs to learn how to stay blunt, follow a game plan to the end, move his upper body.
The referee warning Jaime Munguia for the body shot. I repeat.
Ooh, counter right hand over the top. Surace thinking about it as well. Double left hook there from Munguia. Even in that moment there, in previous rounds, Munguia stepped out, got out of danger as he...
From Munguia. I thought he was just a stubborn fighter, a former champion that can't change his ways. 46 fights, maybe in dog years.
Yes. On that level that he was, a marketable fighter, the big fan base who could do proud. Sergio returns to that level.
With this performance.
And that will do it, has vanquished the demons that have haunted him for 6 months.
By unanimous decision, Jaime Munguia.